Distress means that there is a structural barrier to doing the right thing. There are two types of distress, the type A and type B. In type A, there's a barrier keeping you from doing what you know is right, while in type B, there's a barrier because something is wrong, but you are not sure what something is. Dilemma means that you are doing something right and also doing something wrong. Means that there are two or more correct courses of action that cannot both be followed. Most often, ethical conduct like honoring autonomy versus preventing harm. Or it may involve also conflicting traits of character like honesty versus compassion. In getting the facts prior to ethical decision making, this should answer the following questions. What are the relevant facts of the case? What facts are not known? Can I learn more about the situation? Do I know enough to make a decision? What individuals and groups have an important stake in the outcome? Are some concerns more important and why? What are the options for acting? Have all the relevant persons and groups been consulted? Have I identified creative options? While in evaluating alternative actions, you should evaluate the options by asking the following questions. Which option will produce the most good and do the least harm? Which option best respects the rights of all who have a stake? Which option treats people equally or proportionately? Which option best serves the community as a whole, not just some members? And last one, which option leads me to act as the sort of person I want to be? To make a good decision, the following questions are concerned. Considering all these approaches, which option best addresses the situation? If I told someone I respect, or told the television audience which option I have chosen, what would they say? Some managers use the right versus wrong approach in testing the decisions made, which include the following. Number 1, the legal test. Did anyone do anything illegal? Or number 2, the stench test. Does the situation smells wrong? 3, publicity or the front page test. Would any of the parties involved be embarrassed by the truth coming out? 4, universality or the mom test. What would your mom do? Is this the right thing to do regardless of who's involved? And the last one is the ethics test. Do the code of ethics say anything about the situation? Making good ethical decisions requires a trained sensitivity to ethical issues and a practice method for exploring the ethical aspects of a decision and weighing the considerations that should impact our choice of a course of action. Having a method for ethical decision making is absolutely essential. When practiced regularly, the method becomes so familiar that we work through it automatically without consulting the specific steps. To act and reflect on the outcome, the following questions should be addressed. How can my decision be implemented with the greatest care and attention to the concerns of all stakeholders? How did my decision turn out? And what have I learned from this specific situation? There are 3 ways in deciding what to do: the rule-based, ends-based, and the care-based. The rule-based is following only the principle you want everyone else to follow. This is also called the deontological. The ends-based is do whatever produces the greatest good for the greatest number, also called as the teleological. The care-based is doing unto others as you would have them to do unto you. This is also called as the golden rule. Much of the research on ethical versus unethical behavior in organizations has focused on actually breaking the law. Although factors influencing crimes also are likely to have a bearing on other types of unethical behaviors, there are two factors that influence ethical behavior: the external and the internal factors. There are three items which include in the external factors. One is the environmental competitiveness, which tends to encourage unethical behavior. Some industries in which price fixing has been common, such as those producing automobiles, paper cartons, heavy electrical equipment, tend to have strong competition. Products that are fairly similar and frequent price changes and negotiation. Competition can foster unethical behavior in not-for-profit organizations as well. The second one is the environmental munificence. This also may be conducive to unethical behavior, as organizations struggle for financial performance in an environment in which the opportunities for success are limited. The last one is the extreme dependency. Such dependencies can create pressures for bribes and payoffs. While in the internal factors, these are factors internal to the organization, which also can increase the likelihood of unethical behavior. This includes the 5 items. One is the pressure for high performance. With this, output may induce individuals to take shortcuts such as fixing of prices, secretly speeding up the assembly line, or releasing unsafe products. The second one is the poor internal financial performance. This is simply as falling profits or indebtedness, which may influence organizational members to commit unethical acts. Third is labor dissatisfaction. This may result in unethical behavior as anger replaces more constraints and rational behavior. Ironically, delegation of authority and encouragement of innovation may increase the likelihood of unethical behavior, because the greater latitude and the encouragement of creativity involved. Innovation involves a departure from usual ways of doing things and may in the process raise major ethical questions. Here are some ways to encourage ethical behavior in the workplace. An effective organizational culture should encourage ethical behavior and discourage unethical behavior. Admittedly, ethical behavior may cost the organization. Thus, an organizational culture that promotes ethical behavior is not only more compatible with prevailing cultural values, but in fact makes good sense. Although much remains to be learned about why ethical behavior occurs in organizations, and creating and maintaining organizational cultures that encourage ethical behavior. Organizations can benefit from the following suggestions. 1. Be realistic in setting values and goals regarding employment relationships. Do not promise what the organization cannot deliver. Number 2. Encourage input throughout the organization regarding appropriate values and practices for implementing the cultures. Choose values that represent the views of employees at all levels of organization. 3. Do not automatically opt for a strong culture. Explore methods to provide for diversity and dissent, such as grievance or complaint mechanisms, or other internal review procedures. 4. Ensure that a whistleblowing and/or ethical concerns procedure is established for internal problem solving. 5. Provide ethics training programs for all employees. These programs should explain the underlying ethical and legal principles and present practical aspects of carrying our procedural guidelines. Understand that not all ethical situations are clear out. Number 6. Integrate ethical decision-making into the performance appraisal process.